Today we will discuss about the cybersecurity of the integrated navigation system. It was my PhD thesis topic. Around 5 months ago, I defended it successfully at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. And I would like to thank to my supervisors as well, Associate Professor Vasilis Güllos, Professor Socrates Kassikas, and Associate Professor Runar Osnes. We were together doing this PhD project. Let's start with a little bit discuss about the maritime, the importance of the maritime, given that over 80% of global merchandise trade is conducted through maritime transportation. And according to UNCTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, particularly as of 1990s, there is an increased trend in terms of deadweight ton. What is deadweight ton? It's a carriage capacity of ships. And today's contemporary vessels are equipped with many computerized systems, many IT and OT components, and one of these components is integrated navigation system, which combines information received from various equipment on board to improve navigation safety. However, this significant crucial system includes also several cyber threats and vulnerabilities. The objective of this thesis is to propose suggestions for improving cybersecurity of the integrated navigation system by considering people, process, and technology. For the technology element, I try to define an integrated navigation system and its cybersecurity testbed requirements. For the process element, understanding and effectively assessing cyber risk of the INS. For the people element, developing an effective training program against such cyber risk of an INS. By considering these research questions, research objectives, we develop some research questions. The first one, how can an appropriate testbed environment be developed capable of modeling instances of the reference architecture of the integrated navigation system? How can the cyber risk of an INS be effectively assessed? And how can a training program be designed by considering ethical aspects against cyber risk of the INS? As each project, this PhD project also has a scope. Firstly, we focus on only conventional ships, and we excluded remote control and autonomous ships. The another one, this project is limited only merchant ships, excluding warships. It is limited to only integrated navigation system and its associated components. Other systems on board ship, such as communication systems, main propulsion system, auxiliary system, these are out of the scope. Electronic Positioning Fixing System, or EPFS, is mentioned in the IMO documents for the positioning. And EPFS is divided into two groups, terrestrial and aerial systems. We selected one of the aerial systems, GPS, in this project. This PhD project is totally based on the IMO rules and regulations. Why? Because it is the basic standard for all around the world. We excluded the requirements of the flag states, class requirements, and owner decision. Master, deck officers, and ratings are responsible for the operation of integrated navigation system. Other staff on board, other crew members on board are out of the scope. During this PhD, I had opportunity to publish 9 papers, and one of them was conference paper, the others are journal articles. Navigation data anomaly analysis and detection. This is the only author where I am the co-author of this paper. 8 of these publications have been already published, and one of them, Perspectives on the Cybersecurity of the Integrated Navigation System, still is currently under review. In this figure, you see the relationship between the papers. Each node contributes different papers. Paper 1 contributes 2 papers. Each red node contributes at least 3 papers, and each green node contributes a paper. In this figure, you see the distribution of the papers. For people element, we published 3 papers. For process element, we published 3 papers more. And for technology element, we published 2 papers. One paper addresses all 3 elements. During my PhD, I had also opportunity to publish 3 papers more. These are requirements for productivity in the academic environment, potential cyber threats, vulnerabilities, and protections of unmanned vehicles, and the tools for organizing an effective virtual academic conference. All of them are journal articles, and I was the sole author for all papers. During my PhD, I had opportunity to publish a total of 14 papers. Let's remember the first question. How can an appropriate testbed environment be developed capable of modeling instances of the reference architecture of an integrated navigation system? To address this research question, we published a paper entitled Towards the Cyber-Physical Range for the Integrated Navigation System. We worked together in this study with Vasilis Güllos and Socrates Kastikas, with my supervisors, and it was published in Journal of Marine Science and Engineering. The purpose of this article is to establish a reference architecture for the integrated navigation system and formulate the design specification for a cyber-physical range. And this project consists of 2 parts. In the first part, we investigated the integrated navigation system in terms of components, subcomponents, services, communication protocols, interfaces, dependencies and connections, data and data flow. And it is totally based on IMO requirements. To access the enforced rules and regulations of the International Maritime Organization, we access the IMO Vega database. IMO Vega database is the platform operated by International Maritime Organization and an IAX member class society, DNV. You can always find the rules and regulations in this platform. And by considering our findings, we create a model for the integrated navigation system. In this figure, you see the Monkey Island with a bridge with wings, components, subcomponents, relationship of the integrated navigation system with other vessels, shore facilities, even for satellites. In the second part, we investigated the bridge testbeds in the literature in terms of capabilities and functionalities, hardware components, monitoring and management tools, simulation and emulation tools, architectural models, research analysis, comparison of testbed and potentials of a testbed for cybersecurity studies. And we employed systematic literature review. Between 2014 and 2019, we found 16 relevant papers, and 5 of them are journal articles, and the rest of them are conference papers. 2 bridge testbeds are available in the literature developed by Hyundai and Oldenburg University. These testbeds are used for performance tests of components, developing new technologies, and the risk assessment. One of the testbeds recognized by the IALA. This testbed could be mobile or fixed platform. Real components or mimic sensor data can be employed for bridge testbed. Monitoring tools are possible, such as OpenCPM, and 3D creation tools can be used while developing a testbed. By considering our findings and merging, we reach out the paper entitled Towards the Cyber-Physical Range for the Integrated Navigation System. Second research question. How can the cyber risk of an INS be effectively assessed? To address this research question, we published 5 papers. These are claims of state-sponsored cyber attack in the maritime industry, navigation data anomaly analysis and detection, assessing cyber risk of an INS using the MITRE attack framework, cyber risk assessment for ships, we called it CRASH, perspectives on the cyber security of the integrated navigation system. Let's start the first one. Claims of state-sponsored cyber attack in the maritime industry. I was the sole author of this paper, and it was presented in International Naval Engineering Conference and Exhibition. The objective of this paper is to investigate the state-sponsored cyber attacks claims in the maritime industry. And we implement a semi-systematic literature review. Between 2011 and 2019, I found 22 maritime cybersecurity incidents against the shore facilities and the vessels, and 5 of them allegedly state-sponsored. Of course, this study is totally based on publicly available sources, and according to these sources, China, Iran, North Korea, Russia, and Turkey conducted several attacks in the maritime industry, and they employed the spear phishing, malware attack methods. Also, they implement GPS jamming, GPS spoofing attacks to vessels. What were the purpose of these states, according to claims? To capture confidential data, to cause economic loss, to research electronic warfare technologies, and to blockade hydrocarbon exploration activities. The another one, navigation data anomaly analysis and detection. Ahmet Amro, my good friend, is the lead author of this paper. We work together with Vasilis Gülot and Socrates Kastikas. This paper is published by Information. The objective of this paper is to develop a systematic approach for analyzing NMA messages related to navigation to identify potential anomalies and propose detection algorithms. This is a typical format of a typical NMA messages. It includes several fields, and each field carries a part of information such as course over ground, speed over ground, RPM, time, location, so on and so forth. In this study, firstly, we identified the navigation functions for the autonomous ships and also for the integrated navigation system. Then we identified broadcasted our simulator for the NMA messages, and we focus on the fields of the NMA messages. Then we try to understand a potential relationship between these fields. After that, we started to consider potential anomalies. These could be cyber attacks or sensor failure. And also, we propose some detection algorithms. Denial of view and manipulation of view attacks can cause several anomalies, and they can endanger the ship navigation. Specification-based and frequency-based detection methods can be employed. For the denial of view attacks, frequency-based; for the manipulation of view attacks, specification-based rules can be employed to detect potential anomalies. Assessing cyber risk of an INS using the MITRE attack framework, we worked together with Ahmet Amro and Vasilis Gülot in this study. It was published by Sensors. The purpose of this article is to assess cyber risk of an INS. And we employed the FMACA attack methodology in this study, and these are the stage of the methodology. Components are specified and classified. Functions of components and data flow among components are identified. The failure modes for components are determined. Failure modes are mapped with consequences and impacts. Estimation criteria for criticalities are identified. Detection methods and existing controls are identified. The impact scores of components are identified, and risk scores are calculated, and risk levels are identified. As I said, we implement FMECA attack methodology to assess the cyber risk. However, we also improved this methodology for the cybersecurity assessment on board ships. And we added new consequences such as reputation and environmental. For them, we identified for estimation criteria, and also we modified current or in the original criteria. After that, we modified the risk levels by scores. During our study, also we noticed that classifications, there's a difference between the IMO and FMECA attack methodology. In this figure, you see classification for the IMO and method, according to method. And for IMO, it is almost all of them are OT relevant, but others, according to component, IT, OT, or wireless is fault. In the original method, there are some consequences such as operational, safety, information, financial, and staging. However, we added the reputation and also environmental consequences in the study. Why? This is a typical risk assessment matrix in tanker management companies. And as you can see, environmental and reputation consequences are available in this risk assessment matrix. Reputation consequences came from the cyber requirements of vetting programs such as SIRE, TMSA, CDI, and RISHIP. Environment consequence also comes from these programs, but also from IMO. Formal safety assessment. This is regarding this is the comprehensive guidelines for the risk assessment for the maritime industry, and in these guidelines, environmental consequences are strongly suggested. As I said, we modified these methodologies. In here, you see 5 criteria for the financial criticality by considering the linguistic scale, such as local equipment damage, small damage to other property. These are linguistic and based on expert judgment. We would like to decrease. For this reason, we removed these criteria from the original method and we added our perspective, quantitative scale. For instance, level minor. It is between 1 and 10,000 American dollars. Also, we revised the risk scores because we decided to ignore several consequences because there is no cyber incident caused any marine casualty. For this reason, we removed, otherwise all risk could be low. And we decided to implement a risk priority number approach. Firstly, we assessed the cyber risk, we reach out the scores. After that, according to our scores, we divided this risk again. And here, according to our original method, you see that many risks are low. But after our modification, we start to see even medium and high risk. We implement this cyber risk assessment for 25 components of the integrated navigation system, and 22 of them have various cyber threats and vulnerabilities, just except for switches. And a total of 850 cyber risks we found. 4 of them are critical, 9 of them high, 32 medium, and rest of them low risk. Critical risks are related to ECDIS and radar, high risk related to AES, ECDIS, MFD, multifunction display, nav text, and radar. Crash, cyber risk assessment for ship. We worked together with Yorgos Kavaliaros, Vasilis Goulios, and Socrates Katsikas, published by Transnav. The objective of this article is to propose a novel cyber risk assessment methodology for particularly maritime professions. It includes 9 stages: identification of the system and components, cyber risks, redundancies, and dependencies, determination of the severity, probability, criticality, calculation of the risk score, and analysis of risk. Severity, probability, criticality. These are the essential element of crash, and risk score is calculated by multiplying the severity, probability, and criticality scores. And according to the risk scores we obtained, we identify the risk level as low, medium, and high. Severity element. There are 5 classes such as none, minor, significant, severe, and catastrophic. And to understand the class, we need to understand the impact. Loss of information, loss of control, loss of critical information. These are cybersecurity related terminologies, but easy to learn. And also hazardous situation for the catastrophic. What is catastrophic? Hazardous situations, according to IMO, is mandatory to identify for ship operators. In other words, hazardous situations must be identified in the approved safety management systems. And according to IMO, each company should decide by oneself. However, there is no any recommendation in the IMO documents. For this reason, we reviewed another important document, OCMF. OCMF is an IMO recognized organization, and they publish a guideline entitled Safety Critical Equipment and Spare Parts Guidelines. According to this guidance, hazardous situations are loss of steering, loss of propulsion, loss of power, loss of inert gas system, loss of gas monitoring system, loss of cargo or ballasting monitoring equipment, loss of mooring. These situations are called hazardous situations. Probability element. We have 4 classes: none, unlikely, possible, and likely. And virtually impossible, it means that probably it is impossible. And scenario, this just means experimental research result. It should be proved scientifically or in the industry with the industry reports. Likely, it is a current cyber incident. For the critical element, we use a matrix for including the redundancy and dependency. I would like to show an example. For instance, for AAS onboard, there is no redundancy for the AAS onboard ships. And according to IMO materials, only radar depends on the AAS. For this reason, our criticality score is called high. We implement this methodology to integrated navigation system, and we found 24 cyber risks, and 2 of them high, 8 of them medium, and others are low. For instance, AAS ship spoofing is the high risk, GPS spoofing, high risk, GPS jamming, medium, radar jamming, medium, and more. Okay, it was our perspective, but we must have validated our results as well. For this reason, firstly, we start to validate our results. Guidelines for cyber risk management in shipboard operation technology systems. It was published by SUTD, Singapore University of Technology and Design. We compared our results with the results of this guideline. Why we selected this guideline? It was proposed in the International Maritime Organization. And we have some mutual risk. And we found 7 mutual risks in this guideline and our paper, and 5 of them, in terms of the results, are the same. Okay, very nice. However, also we advocate that this methodology should be user-friendly for maritime professionals. For this reason, we start to make some interviews with seafarer background people. You see some example from our interviews, and these have seafarer license, seamanship license, current or formal. And after that, these are somehow relevant to cybersecurity, such as ship cybersecurity officer, company cybersecurity officer. They have completed master thesis or ongoing PhD thesis regarding the maritime cybersecurity. And we understood that our methodology is really user-friendly for maritime professions. Perspective on the cybersecurity of the integrated navigation system. We work together with Yorgos Kavadeatros, Vasilis Kylos, and Socrates Kastikas in this paper. However, given that it hasn't been published yet, I cannot discuss today with you, unfortunately. How can a training program be designed by considering ethical aspects against cyber risk of the integrated navigation system? To address this research question, we published 3 papers. These are Ethical Considerations in Maritime Cybersecurity Research, a modular cybersecurity training program for the maritime domain, evaluation of maritime cybersecurity training program. The first one, Ethical Considerations in Maritime Cybersecurity Research. I was the sole author for this paper, and it was published by Translam. The objective of this paper to identify ethical principles and potential dilemmas for the maritime cybersecurity studies. And I identified 6 ethical principles. These are integrity, professional responsibility, legality, accountability, confidentiality, and openness. Integrity. It is regarding the truthfulness and honestly. You should avoid fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism, of course. Loss and gift authorship. Maybe some of the people listening us is not familiar with these notions. Ghost authorship means there is a person contribute to papers, however, his or her name doesn't appear on the manuscript. Gift authorship, there is no significant contribution, but his name or her name appears on the manuscript. Sometimes you can need to hire some people, some professions, and you should always consider the qualifications. Sea service or shore experience at the shore side. If it is coming from the cybersecurity industry, you should consider all background, and you should ignore the gender, nationality, and potential view of the candidate. Maritime cybersecurity is a new area. For this reason, still we need qualified experts in this field, and for this reason, you should support early stage researchers. Some nations implement really strong maritime culture on board. Hierarchy could be possible on board ships. For this reason, you should consider the maritime culture while you are making a research on board ship. You should follow the rules and regulations, of course, on board and at shore. For instance, you can find spoofing and jamming device on the market. Today, it is available. It is possible. However, in some countries, such as America, it is forbidden to use. Because of the projects or because of the collaboration, you can sign a memorandum of understanding, non-disclosure agreement, so on and so forth, and you should follow the criteria in these agreements. You can have join onboard ship, and you can notice that some components, some infected components. For this reason, the ship can lose its seaworthiness, and in such a case, you should notify the maritime authorities. Always, you should consider the well-being of the industry. You should share the data, develop tools, and research findings. You can make a pen test. However, the test reports shouldn't be shared with any crew on board ship. You should share it on a dedicated person at the company. And you should always consider the personal data of crew, passengers, and the office staff. You should protect them. During your research, you should take the precautions to prevent losing seaworthiness and cargo worthiness of the ship, or damage the component and environment. You should always consider the vessel traffic, sea and weather conditions, and also you should consider the charter party agreements and so on. Ethical dilemmas. Research on state-sponsored cyber attack for your own country. Is it ethical or not? Because civilians also can be a target. Today, there are some tools and services used for the cybersecurity studies. However, there is a risk, weaponization. You should share the details of actual cyber incidents. In this way, the society can take precautions against such cyber risk. However, also such vulnerabilities can be used by malicious actors. You can have some clients having a request for vulnerability analysis of their competitors' component. Of course, you should notify about potential vulnerabilities of the manufacturers, and sometimes it takes time or they are not willing to fix such vulnerabilities. In such a case, it's a question. You should notify public or not. During the cybersecurity studies, also you may need to reach out to personal data. In this way, it is a question mark. Research or violating the personal privacy. Because of this study, I was in the International Maritime Organization for a while. I was accepted by them. And by taking benefit from this opportunity, I had access to IMO docs. IMO docs, actually, it is available for the use of public. However, I had access with I could access more documents by benefit of this hosting, and I had opportunity to review all IMO documents, and I found that a document including cybersecurity statements first. It was published in 2014. In 2014, also another document was published. It was the proposal of Canada and United States. The other one in 2014 submitted by Canada. I mean, these are the first documents regarding the cybersecurity in the International Maritime Organization, the year 2014. Google Trends show us the public interest for keywords. And as you see, in 2012, 2013, 2014, there is no activity for the keyword of maritime cybersecurity. However, as of 2015, we start to see some activities after the IMO documents. A modular cybersecurity training program for the maritime domain. We work together with Nabin Chaudhary and Vasilis Güllos in this study. It was published by International Journal of Information Security. The purpose of this manuscript is to offer cybersecurity training program for the maritime industry, and we implement critical events model as a method. This method consists of 9 steps, such as identify the needs of the organization, specify job performance, identify learner needs, determine objectives, build curriculum, select instructional strategies, obtain instructional resources, conduct training and evaluation and feedback. By following these steps, we offered a maritime cybersecurity training program. However, also we needed to evaluate. For the evaluation, we employed another methodology, Delphi. This is a typical ship organization chart, and there's a master, officers, engineers, decorating, engineering, catering staff. There are many responsibilities. This is a organization chart in a shipping company. It starts with the board of directors, then C-suite levels such as CEO, CFO, CTO, and more. Directors, IT department, technical director, claims department, company security officer, designated person assured, HSEQ department, many people, many roles, many responsibilities. For this reason, a constant training shouldn't be implemented. The training should be flexible and role specific. And many accredited maritime organizations and also cybersecurity organizations advocate this point. For this reason, we propose a modular training, and we developed 11 training modules for the maritime industry. These are basic cybersecurity, advanced cybersecurity, regulatory requirements, vetting requirements, critical deck systems, critical engine systems, other critical systems, cybersecurity investment, cybersecurity practices, cybersecurity management, and advanced skills. Of course, it is impossible to show all of them. Just I would like to show some examples. For one responsibility for the vessel, one responsibility for the office side. For vessel, navigation, communication, and cargo operation. This is one of the potential responsibility typically for the deck officers. And we propose training modules such responsibilities. Basic cybersecurity, regulatory requirements, vetting requirements, critical deck systems. And another one, office side. Investment and management in marine operations. We suggested 4 modules, including basic cybersecurity, regulatory requirements, vetting requirements, and cybersecurity investments. For each responsibility, also we gave some examples, such as master and second officer, or CEO, CFO, DPA, company security officer, HISEC manager, vetting manager, so on and so forth. After that, we match it. In this table, you see a mapping with training modules with roles, crew, and office staff. For instance, for the master, we suggested basic cybersecurity, regulatory requirements, vetting requirements, it is elective, critical deck systems, and cybersecurity practices. But for ratings, we recommended only one module, basic cybersecurity. Let's little bit focus on one of the modules, module 5, critical deck systems. Firstly, we identify an objective. Learners will learn cyber risk in the deck systems in module 5. What are the desired learning outcomes? Learners will acquire comprehensive knowledge of cyber risk related to critical deck systems and will be proficient in implementing appropriate mitigation measures. Learners will be capable of effectively handling cybersecurity incidents related to critical deck systems. These are our learning outcomes for module 5. Also, we suggested contents, target deck systems, such as bridge systems, cargo handling and management systems, communication systems, threat and vulnerabilities, mitigation measures, redundant systems, incident response. After that, we recommended training materials. For instance, it is written 14. 14 means BIMCO guideline, the guidelines on cybersecurity on board ships. Red numbers are page numbers. I mean, a training designer can use this article to develop a training material and a whole training course very easily. In this study also, we propose instructional strategies for modules. These strategies are lecture, discussion, case study, drill, and demonstration. For Module 1, we suggested lecture, discussion, case study, and demonstration. But for critical deck systems, a training designer can implement all instructional strategies. For each training module, we recommended a training duration. Typically, it is 2 hours, but for Module 9, cybersecurity practices, we suggested 1 day. For Module 10, 1 week. For Module 11, it depends on learner's background. Also, we have some requirements. For instance, before the vetting requirements, the learner should have completed a regularity requirements module. Or before the cybersecurity investment module, the learner should complete the regularity requirements and vetting requirements module. Okay, they were our opinions, our ideas, but we must have evaluated them. For this reason, we invited experts in various backgrounds. Academics in maritime cybersecurity, experts in maritime cybersecurity, experts in maritime training, or a person had a combined role. He was a full professor and independent consultant. And these are experience in the maritime industry and maritime cybersecurity typically, and we discussed it with them. And by considering their opinions, also we changed and we modified, we improved our MARSI training program. Evaluation of maritime cybersecurity training program. It was we were together with Navin Çölderi, Vasilis Gülos, and Socrates Kastikas. It was published by Transnav. Okay, we evaluated with experts, but another question. Did experts' opinion correct? The objective of this article is to evaluate and improve the MARSI training program. We followed our own methodology. Firstly, we identified partners. And we found a class society, an IX member class society, a student club, a maritime faculty, and a maritime training company. It means that company representatives of ship operators. They invited, maritime training company invited their clients. And before these trainings, we implement a survey. We call them prerequisite survey. Firstly, we made the survey with the leaders. Leaders mean the organizers of our partners. And after that, we sent these surveys as an online to invitees, potential learners. And we collected their opinions, their expectations from the training. By considering their expectations, we developed our training materials. And then we decided to train. However, before the training sessions, during the training sessions, and after the training sessions, we implement post-assessment survey. In the post-assessment survey, there were also 2 exams. Why 2 exams? Before the training sessions, we made exam, we did exam. After the training, we did another exam to understand the difference, to understand the effectiveness of the training. And after that, we analyze our findings and improve the Marcy training program by considering our findings. We organized 4 training sessions with a total of 79 participants. These are different days totally. And for each module around we spent 25 minutes. In the step 1, we couldn't find any need to improve or modify, but we needed to develop a new module. Module 12, called autonomous ship, because of a request of student club. However, in the step 2, we noticed one of the mistake. Investment and management in marine operation responsibility. This is a combined role, combined responsibility. After the evaluations, we decided to divide this responsibility into 2 parts, investment and management in marine operations. Moreover, we needed to add additional responsibilities. For class society, we added survey and certification function, and ship operator, we added the safe manning of ships. It was another mistake of us. And also, we mentioned about the potential roles. By considering our mistakes and needed and improvements, we decided to change our model recommendations by considering the responsibilities. You see the last version. For safe manning, we added the basic cybersecurity regulatory requirements and vetting requirements. For the investment, yet we have 4 modules. For others, we have additions. We have many findings, but it is impossible to discuss all of them, but I will say some of them. In the step 3, we couldn't find any mistakes or improvements. However, we found that some useful information. For instance, according to company representative, the module 4 vetting requirements is the most useful module. But according to class society employees, vetting requirements is the least useful module. What does it mean? It means that a fixed or it's a constraint or constant training could be not useful. But also we focus on the responsibilities. Here you see the just office staff and with different responsibilities, and most and least useful modules are variable by their responsibility. For instance, for the safe manning of ships, they are typically crew managers or crew department, and according to them, regulatory requirements is the most useful module. But for others, vetting programs is the most useful. For the autonomous ship module, it was the new one. We identified the objective and learning outcome. The potential cybersecurity risks of the autonomous ships are understood. And as a desired learning outcome, familiarity with autonomous ship projects, published guidelines for autonomous ships, cyber risk assessment for autonomous ships. These are potential learning outcomes. And we suggested curriculum for this module: autonomy classification of ships, autonomous ship projects, standards and class guidelines, attack surfaces, and cyber risk assessment for autonomous ships. Also, we try to understand the effectiveness of our instructional strategies proposed, and we implement lecture, discussion, and case studies as an instructional strategies in the training sessions, and all participants supported us. However, for drill and demonstration, their opinions are variable, And however, I would like to say that if we had a change to implement drill and demonstration, probably the participant, the learner idea would be different. We had some suggestions for the step 7 in the original study, and we understood that our suggestions are really useful because of some problems. Firstly, we had a problem regarding the distribution of training materials. One of the organizers decided to send the training materials via email. However, learners didn't receive these training materials. Another one, they forgot to print out the training materials before the training. And native speakers are preferred by learners. And during the training sessions, we also had some technical issues. For instance, they gave us a handheld microphone, and it was really difficult to keep it for 3 hours. For frequency and duration of the training modules, we had good proposals from the learners, and also they suggested micro training sessions to us. And for this reason, we improved the step 8 in this study. Evaluation of the training, it is based on the score evaluation, and typically it is really useful. The scores are increased between 27% and 81%. And for instance, class society, for class society, these trainings were really useful. They increased their scores 81%. We try to understand the relationship between the learner background and the modules. And for instance, for the module A, cybersecurity investments, typically learners with a background were more successful. We try to understand the module and module-based evaluation. And for the module 3 regulatory requirements, typically company representatives were already familiar with this module's content. And also we collected some feedback from the learners regarding the training, and overall quality of the modules range are from 4.2 to 4.8 over 5. Yes, this is a PhD project, and I have some limitations, of course. Firstly, rules and regulations are constantly revised or revoked. And for instance, maritime navigation and radio communication equipment and systems. This is revised. Guidelines on maritime cybersecurity management. It was also revised. Carriage requirements for shipborne navigation systems and equipment. It was revised by IMO. CDI standard, here 4 questions. These are revised. The design of the integrated navigation system is subject to numerous variables, including decisions made by ship owners and manufacturers, the gross tonnage, the navigation zone, construction date, and class requirements. For this reason, we only consider the IMO rules and regulations in this PhD project. Claims of state-sponsored cyber attack in the maritime industry. This study relies on publicly available cyber incidents. However, undisclosed cyber incidents could be available. We are aware of this issue. And accuracy of information. This is another potential problem, because publicly available news also is subject to manipulation and misinformation. Navigation data anomaly analysis and detection. We employed the breach command as a simulation tool, and this tool only broadcasts 10 types of NMEA messages, while this original standard includes over 100 NMEA messages. And our study was conducted in a controlled laboratory environment, and still we don't know the real-world field results. Assessing cyber risk of an ANS using the MITRE attack framework. As I said, integrated navigation system depends on many criteria. For this reason, it is not applicable to implement all INS setups. And in our study, we ignored the safety and environmental consequences. In the future, probably we should consider as well it. Cybersecurity risk assessment for ships, as I said, not applicable to all INS setups, and it relies on publicly available cyber incidents and could be more. It is impossible to discuss all potential ethical dilemmas. A modular cybersecurity training program for the maritime domain. In this study, our cases were limited to ship crew members and the office staff, and at that time, it hasn't evaluated with real-world fields at that time at least. However, we fixed this issue at the next paper. Evaluation of maritime cybersecurity training program. We conducted 4 training sessions with 79 learners. It is still relatively small sample size. Need to evaluate with other staff in the maritime industry, such as port staff and naval personnel as well. And typically for each module, we spend 25 minutes instead of 2 hours at least because of the time limit. For this reason, we have a deviation from recommended module duration. We suggested some future works. Firstly, yes, we recommended a concept to design a cyber-physical range for the integrated navigation system. However, now it is time to develop a test bed, a real test bed, or actual test bed for cybersecurity studies. Claims of state-sponsored cyber attack in the maritime industry. This study is consists of the cyber incidents between 2011 and 2019. Currently, it is a little bit out of date. For this reason, need to find additional cyber incidents and also costs and impacts of state-sponsored attack claims as well. Navigation data anomaly analysis and detection. As I said, we analyzed just 10 types of NMEA messages. Still, we have opportunity to investigate over 100 NMEA messages. We implement the FMECA attack and the crash methodologies to assess the cyber risk of an integrated navigation system. However, as I said before, there are many systems on board, and these methodologies can be employed to assess the other systems on board ships. We mentioned about some ethical dilemmas, but still it is open question to discuss other ethical dilemmas. And yes, we developed a MARCI. We evaluated a MARCI project with MARCI training program with the experts, domain experts, and also we have a real world field result. However, still need to be evaluated with port and other stuff in the industry, and also can be designed to develop new training modules. This PhD project is a part of MARCI project. What is MARCI? Maritime Cyber Resilience is a project funded by partners and Norwegian Research Council. And NTNU, one of the partners, Norwegian University of Science and Technology, my former university. Norwegian Defense University of College, another partner. DNV, another partner. Norwegian Hull Club are another partner, and the last one, Kongsberg. Thank you very much for listening to me. And if you have any questions, I am happy to reply. Of course, still, I don't remember. I started to forget my papers. One of them published 5 years ago even. But I will try to reply.
Thank you so much, Aybars, for your comprehensive presentation and introducing us with your impressive publication score. That's really impressive, but I know that you are moving forward, that you are not limited to integrated navigation system, that you're looking forward, that you are expanding the scope of your research, and that's great. I would like to thank you once again and to open the floor to our guests online and here in the room for the questions, comments.
Thank you very much for your kind words. Of course, with your help, I had the opportunity extend my studies.
Thank you. Thank you. So do we have some questions from the room or from the audience online? Please.
It was a little bit long, sorry for that, but it is a PhD thesis for this reason. Sorry for that.
Yeah, Leonidas, please proceed if you would like to ask questions.
Yes, thank you, Aybars, for the very, very good presentation and description of all these nice papers. Just a question regarding the crash method. What is the main benefit?
Sorry, regarding the which method?
The crash.
Crash?
CRASC, this risk assessment method, crash, I think you call it.
Yes.
Yeah. So regarding that method, what is the main benefit against the other existing risk assessment, let's say, methods for the maritime domain? There are a few.
Yes. Firstly, we try to decrease the expert judgment because this is typically based on the architecture of the system. And another benefit is user friendliness. Many risk assessment methodologies, such as direct, are typically developed for cybersecurity experts. However, Crash was designed for maritime experts. And for this reason, with a short training, with a short presentation, less than maybe 1 hour, they can implement this methodology. And we validate this approach with interviews.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, you are welcome.
Do we have any more questions from the audience?
No.
I would ask something if I could.
What is your problem with me?
All good. I think, yeah. Everybody understood everything. Everything is crystal clear.
I cannot remember.
So thank you so much, Aybars. And Leonidas, do you have something to add?
Yeah, maybe a second question regarding this, the course, the modules, the latest part of the presentation. Is the main plan to actually make it a course? For example, at TalTech Maritime Academy, I think it could be a short course at least, or in some other institute.
We didn't do this study to develop a real course, but I am open for all offers. It is really possible to develop. A formal course by considering our findings. Or short courses. This is also possible, and currently some organizations start to contact with me, even a class society, and they are interested in this training program or master training approach. And I would like to say that I am completely open for any offer, and I am willing to implement. We can do, Leonidas.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Add on this that we have started here to introduce the cybersecurity management hygiene or culture among the students, and that Dan did some efforts in terms that he introduced that topics as well, and he invited some speakers. So maybe in consultations with Dan, you can go deeper into the field and conceive maybe new courses or something like that in the future.
Of course, also Dan mentioned about another paper regarding the maritime cybersecurity training, and maybe we can make collaboration as well. He mentioned we were planning to discuss, but we couldn't have opportunity yet.
Yeah, and also another option is connected with the library that we are trying to set, and that laboratory, that laboratory will open new possibilities for different training courses as well.
Great.
But it's something in progress, and of course it needs further discussion and deeper. But yes, thank you, Leonidas, for raising this issue. It's something that we should think about.
Of course.
So if that is it, at the end of our discussion, then thank you, Aybars, for joining us today.
Thank you for organizing indeed. This is your effort.
Thank you. It was nice having you. And this recording will be available on our Maritime YouTube channel. So anybody who missed it can rewatch it. Thank you, everybody. And this is it for today. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.